Welcome back to part 2 of 2 for Tuesday, my tarot maniacs. We are going to look at how the world is responding to Donald Trump's new tariff structure. He presented that on what he called Liberation Day. A pretty bold statement there. He presented a list in video 1. If you want to go look at it, it's right here. In video 1, we talked about some of the numbers there, and I'm going to put that into the thumbnail as well so you can take a look at it. But there really was an inequity of tariff structure for us. So let's take a look at how some of the countries around the world are going to respond. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So we are going to be looking at the reaction of some of the countries. I can't do all of them, guys. This video would be hours long. We've got about 80 countries that are now coming to the table to look at renegotiating the terms that Trump has proposed. So thanks so much for watching video 1. Thank you so much for being here for video number 2. I've had amazing amounts of views over the last week. I'm kind of shocked at how much traction the channel has gotten. So I thank you all for that. Thank you to the new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad to have you on board. Let's get going. I'm going to bring up that card view. Please like this video. It does help the algorithm and it does help get me a little bit more exposure. So I appreciate all the help. This is my full-time job. So I'm a content creator and I also do private readings. If you'd like to get your own private reading, magical reading, you can get one at the link below. I'm going to be away for the next week, but you can book in advance. I highly recommend doing it because my schedule does tend to fill up very quickly every week. So let's get going. I'm going to bring up that card view for you and let's get started. So the world has responded to Donald Trump's tariff structure by coming to the negotiation table. When he first announced the tariffs, there was quite a kerfuffle because he was saying, you know, these numbers are going to be way higher than what you're used to paying. So let's see how 3 of our global trade allies are going to react. So let's take a look at China's reaction. And just to remind you, I just want to look at China was charging us a 67% tariff. And what we are proposing is 34%. So it's still not reciprocal. It's still not the same amount. You know, if we charge 67%, what would happen? That would be terrible. So what is the reaction of China to this new tariff structure? What is China's reaction? Xi Jinping, they're like not happy about it at all. Not happy about it at all. So what do we get out of this? They're like, well, what do we need you for? We are a market for them. So let's take a look at how we are a market for them. What is this going to do to their sales and production? It's going to release them from something. High Priestess there. I think that they're going to be retaliatory in some sense. Now, I don't think that they're going to slap us with even more tariffs, but I think they're going to change the way they ship and produce to the United States. I think that's going to be a little bit different. This unhappiness, let's see what that's all about. Again, losing their revenue. Justice, they feel this is very unfair. And the Hierophant in reverse. They're not going to accept Donald Trump as the boss of the world. So I think that there's going to be some retaliatory trade stuff that goes on with China. Not very clear. And then this happiness. What is this happiness? And even more happiness. They're going to partner with another country. they are going to buddy up with another country and use them for trade. So what does that mean? I do think that they're going to trade through another country that has lower tariffs. So they're going to create I'm sorry, this is a future cast. I'm doing a future cast, guys. Future cast. So what I think China is going to do is find a country that has lower tariffs and somehow get their goods into that country, and then it's going to bounce over. So it's going to be, yep, there we go. New trade route, new trade route. But it's going to be found out, and we're going to tell them that they can't do that. It'll be found out, and there will be some other tariffs put onto that. So, let's just say they want to go to the X country, whatever country that is. China will manufacture, ship things over there in a clandestine manner, and then that will come over to us, and they'll kind of split the difference on the sale. So we possibly will see a smaller country, an unexpected country that's going to have increased manufacturing, increased production, and then that'll come to us. So I don't think that that's a sustainable model. I think that's only one way that they can do this. So I do think China is going to try coming in a backdoor, so to speak. So the EU has already said that they will negotiate 0 for 0 on industrial goods, 0 for 0. So what else is the EU? How else is the EU reacting to this? If I don't want to lose this. This is going to be a bit longer of a negotiation. The EU this is going to be a conversation that's going to happen for a while. Top view, King of Pentacles, under the surface. Yeah, this is going to be a conversation, but I do think that it's going to turn out well at the end of it all. I think it's going to be a heated debate, and I think that both sides, the US and the EU, are going to be pushing for, obviously, any debate, you're going to be pushing for what's most beneficial for you. But I do think in the end, the EU is going to, the head of the EU, I think she's going to see the benefit of playing ball. Again, I keep saying playing ball, playing pentacles. I think she's going to see the benefit of that is going to outweigh having pushback with Trump or the United States. And I do think that JD Vance is going to be jumping into this. I think he is going to be kind of the mouthpiece of it with the EU. I think there's something about he's a bit more palatable that I'm getting psychically, that the head of the EU finds him a bit more easy to work with, despite the way that everyone thought he ganged up on Zelensky. I think that was a moment in time. I don't think that really JD Vance works that way. So I'll have to check my resources on that and see if that's correct. But I do feel like he's going to be more involved in the negotiations with them than Donald Trump himself. So this actually looks good, even though these cards are all upside down and seemingly negative. I don't think that they are. We have the King of Pentacles up top and the Ace of Pentacles underneath. This indicates that we're ready to have a new foundation. Do we love it? Absolutely not. But we can see where this partnership is going to yield more stability for both the EU and the United States. And that's really goes the United States economy, so goes the world. So we kind of have to follow that pattern. And I think that is going to be better served up by someone like JD Vance than it is by Donald Trump. So I think the EU is going to come along I do think that they're going to negotiate, and I think that it's going to be a mutually beneficial situation. Now, Mexico, our friends to the south here. Let's see how Mexico's reaction to the tariffs is going to motivate and change what they do. How is that going to happen? And just for the record, let me see if I have a Mexico. I actually don't have the Mexico tariff structure, so I apologize. I don't have that one in front of me. The Emperor, Page of Wands, the Sun card is always good, guys. It's always good. The Hierophant, and good balance. So, Mexico, again, we get some goods from them. I think that there's going to be an agreement with more manufacturing on Mexican soil. So what does that mean? I think we are going to be helping Mexico build factories. I'm going to do future cast again. Ready? I think Donald Trump is going to suggest, let's build some factories for whatever goods. I do think that we're going to have some automotive stuff there. And I believe there was another country that tried to do this, tried to manufacture automotive stuff in Mexico. But I think we're going to negotiate with them that we put some factories on Mexican soil, and those are going to have an exchange with the United States. So now we don't have to manufacture products in China, in Taiwan, in all of those places. We can manufacture them right in Mexico. We can make it more of an industrial state. Do I think that we run into environmental issues and that kind of thing? I think that's going to be a debate. I think some people are going to go, this is terrible. They're building manufacturing city right on the border. But I do think that is a bridge that's going to have to be crossed at some point. We can't condemn China for having a lot of industrial waste and then take the manufacturing away from them and put it here. And then we have this industrial waste, but we're going to do it in Mexico. We're going to do it in our dirty neighbor, we're going to dirty our neighbor. Not too cool, but I think that is a bridge that they're going to cross. I think Mexico and Detroit are going to become the new motor cities. I shouldn't say Mexico, but a place in Mexico at the border. I think we're going to see that. And I think the bigger, the better, because it is going to interfere with the cartels. I think we're going to do something where we will have a little bit of American presence there. Whether or not Mexico likes that. I think if we put these factories there, if we put these auto manufacturing plants there, that we absolutely need to have some kind of a presence, like was suggested to Zelensky on the border of Ukraine in the disputed territory with Russia. So I think we wind up with something more like that. I think that is going to be posed. Very, very interesting that we could manufacture autos up in the northern part of the United States and then in Mexico below the border, because it will offer good livable American wages for some of those immigrants that were coming through to benefit from the American system, benefit from the American dream. Now, I know some of the immigration that came through, and don't get me started, was coming over because it was freebie. There is a large portion of immigration that has come to the United States to live the American dream. My grandfather's family did it. My mother-in-law came to the United States. Lots of people. We have a very, very close family friend that came from El Salvador, and he fought like hell to get to this country because he wanted to make a better life for his family, and he is one of my favorite people in the whole world. I think he's an unbelievable person. He's very religious and a perfect family man. Great person. He is literally one of my favorite people on the planet. I do think that there are people that come here in earnest to earn a good living. One of my other girlfriends, her father came over from Poland with $50 in his pocket. and made a wonderful, wonderful life for his family. And all of them have succeeded. All of her and her siblings have all succeeded. So I do think that there is an opportunity here in the United States to work hard and become something great. I think we're going to export that to the border of Mexico. So if we do see that immigrant surge, like there's going to be factories and cities and towns and suburbs that they'll be able to settle in and benefit the Mexican economy, benefit with real work, real significant products and goods that will come across the border. Now, this isn't to say that Mexico does not have this yet. They do have a robust economy in terms of export, but this is a mutually beneficial situation. And I do think that this is something that's going to be discussed. I hope that this will come to fruition because I think it's a very interesting perspective. Is Mexico going to become like a car manufacturing company or country? No, I think this is going to be American-made cars that are made over there and brought over the border, transported into the country with some kind of agreeable business exchange between the two of them. Really cool. Didn't expect to see that. Is there a coordinated effort? Oh, wait. Coordinated effort against the United States? Are some countries banding together to make this not happen? Yes, we do. I do think that Canada is having some conversations. I think Canada's having some conversations with some other countries. I do think as they are, Commonwealth country with within the United Kingdom, or they are a Commonwealth country in agreement with the United Kingdom. I think there's some interesting conversations going on between them. I think Keir Starmer is dead set against this. So I think anyone that says, hey, what do you think about this? Like the conversation, like when you start smack talking somebody and you're like, hey, what do you think of so-and-so? And it's like, yeah, I don't know about so-and-so. Yeah, I don't know about so-and-so either. Yeah, it seems like kind of a jerk. Yeah, you know what? He is a jerk. And he did this and he did that and he did another thing. So I think there's a little bit of that going on. So I don't see that as being super, super positive. Will it be successful? Will they be able to counter all of this? Let me see. There's the fighting. There's the balance. And no, they're not going to be able to do anything about it. So I just don't think the come along is going to be too big. So how are countries like India, Brazil, and Vietnam reacting? So these are possibly opportunistic supporters of this tariff structure. So let's take a look. Real quick. India, bloop, Brazil, and Vietnam. As India's worried about this. Brazil, Vietnam loves it. Brazil is like, okay, we're ready for some change. We can do this. We can negotiate. Yeah, it's not fair. We can do this. India, why is India so worried? This was Brazil, guys. Why is India so worried? India's worried about losing money. I mean, obviously, like this is a whole thing. They're worried that they're not going to be able to obtain the kinds of monies that they were used to. They're quite upset about it at the moment, it looks like. Will that change? Taking a rest, judgment, Page of Swords. They're going to start anew. They're going to understand boss is boss. The boss is boss, guys. Sorry. So over here, we've got Vietnam. Vietnam's like, woohoo, let's go. Vietnam totally is like, let's do this. We understand. They understand the numbers. They understand the numbers game in this. And so they're like, we can do this. This is going to work for us. So Vietnam coming along. Happy. So, all right. So what we're going to go a little wacky now. What karmic role is the US playing in the world economy? What karmic role are we playing? So, how the US economy works, how well it works, it does affect the rest of the world. We don't want to see global collapse. You know, we all read in school about the Great Depression in the United States, and we don't want to see that happen over the whole world. So, what is the karmic role the US is playing right now? Speed and communication, saying that we're going to care and fix this. You guys can fight us, but we've got to get into another mindset. It takes a crafty mind. It may feel weird, but ultimately we're going to be successful. And boom, I'm going to leave my reading like that, guys. So that is how I see it. Let me know what you think about these tariffs below. I know I have a lot of countries in my chats, and I'm curious what you guys think about all this. So if you are super upset about the tariffs that are on your country, I am sorry. I'm not trying to be pro-US, but I am trying to read this as the effect of what the United States is doing on other countries and on the global economy, and more specifically on the US economy, because I do want to see that kind of come along. So I hope you don't find me biased. Some people find me biased. But I'm trying to look at how this is going to affect. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep an eye out for the rest of my videos. I did do a lot of recording this weekend, and I will see you all in the future.